Hi everybody, a very warm welcome to our today's tutorial for the ImpressionIST 4. It's a very intuitive, innovative, flexible and fast 3D centering device from Rodenstock. To have satisfied wearers, it is very crucial to measure all the fitting parameters and to make sure that the lenses are positioned in the right way in the frame so that the wearer at the end looks always through the right parts of the lens. With our ImpressionIST 4, we are measuring the pupil distance and the fitting height, which is needed for every type of lenses. In addition to that, for individual lenses like Big Impression Exact and Big Impression Norm, we can measure with the ImpressionIST 4 the pentoscopic tilt, the face form angle and the corneal vertex distance. And beside these parameters, the frame dimensions like box height, box length and distance between the lenses can be measured with the ImpressionIST 4. With the measurement of all these parameters, you are able to respect all fitting rules, so the eye's center rotation requirement and the reference point requirement. It's all possible with the ImpressionIST 4 to make sure that your lens wearers are very satisfied with their lenses at the end. So, in the next step, let's have a look what to respect when using the ImpressionIST 4 and how to place a customer in a proper way and how to take the measurement. So, please stand here in front of the ImpressionIST 4 and here we have your new frame. So just put it on and we check again if the fitting is really correct and if it is like we want to have it later in real life. So, dear wearer, we will now take the measurement for the fitting of your new glasses, that the lenses are at the end perfectly fitted into your frame. Therefore, you stand in front of our ImpressionIST 4 and please just stretch out your arm and touch the device. So like this, we make sure that we have a distance of round about 60 centimeters. In addition to that, we need to adjust the height of the ImpressionIST 4. We have here at the side the slider. There are two cameras inside and we check that the upper camera is approximately on the level of the eye of the customer. So this is how the setup should be, and maybe you notice it, compared to other centering devices, we don't need a clip-on for the frame. So this is a very strong USP for the ImpressionIST 4, because you don't manipulate the frame with the clip-on. We do the measurement just like this, and just like the wearer is having their glasses later on in the face. So, to guarantee a proper positioning of the customer in front of the ImpressionIST 4, it's very important that we have a habitual posture. And therefore, you can ask the wearer that they just should move around a little bit, so to stretch everything and to be very natural. And then there is one very good tip which you can do. You can ask the customer to turn the head as much as possible to the left side and as much as possible to the right side, because like this you assure that the head is in the right position. You cannot turn the head as much to the left and to the right when you are looking up or down, for example. So you need to be in a horizontal position to be able to turn the head. So just turn the head, please. And afterwards, you look into the mirror and you please look on the base of your nose. Perfect. Now we are ready to take the picture and to do the measurement. Before we take the picture, we make sure that the face is detected properly and you see that on the screen with all these green indicators. And you check that the whole face with the frame is inside the screen. If that's given, you can press the photo button and take the picture. And then you check just if really everything was found, if the frame is within the center of this display. And afterwards, you can do everything alone, so you don't need the wearer anymore. You can do all the boxing and centration when the wearer already left the shop. After the shooting with your wearer with their new frames, you need to do the analysis to get the frame parameters and the fitting parameters. This can be done in the ImpressionIST 4 client or in our new software CNext Select, as you can see here. You can do this either on the ImpressionIST touchscreen, on an iPad, or on any other PC in your workshop where you have installed CNext Professional. Basically, here you see now a pre-selection of your wearer, and you just need to check if the pre-selection is correct for the ongoing analysis. Therefore, you just check if the frame is fitted into this mint part of the pre-selection, and if not, you can just move it up and down to fit the frame inside. That's one part you check here in this preview. The second part is that you need to check if any of our pre-selected calculations shall be switched off. You see these three icons here. One is the head tilt, one is the head rotation, and one is the convergence. So as the consumer is focusing the base of their nose while taking the picture, we need to recalculate on the convergence to guarantee that we take the fitting parameters for the vision into the infinity direction. Therefore, we automatically recalculate with this convergence. In case your consumer is not able to focus the base of their nose, for example, in terms of high myopia, or if you have a one-eyed consumer who is not doing any convergence at all, you can switch off this automatic calculation, and then you ask the consumers during taking the picture that they should just put their view straight into the mirror, into infinity. But in this case, we have advised the consumer to focus the base of the nose, so we don't need to deactivate this calculation. The other two icons, head rotation and head tilt, you need to deactivate when the consumer is really having a bent posture. So for example, somebody that can hear not very good or can only hear on one eye, they sometimes move the head a little bit around, so they turn it around to push the good ear in front of you. So their natural posture is then with a rotated head, and then you need to deactivate our automatic calculation because we really want to take into account the natural behavior. So this is meant with these buttons up here. Always when you click on it, you deactivate our automatic calculation for the head tilt, for the head rotation, and for the convergence. Then you can choose here the material of the frame. In this case, it's completely correct. We have a metal frame with a groove depth of 0.5 millimeters. You can choose here from plastic, nylon, others, or metal if you need to adapt this. And for the groove depths, you can as well choose between 0 and 0.8 millimeters. So we take here 0.5. This is to be done in the preview. The next step is to check the pupil detection. So you see here on the top a bar that is indicating which kind of analysis you have already done and which ones you need to do. So we have done the shooting. We are currently in the preview. The next step is the pupil. So either we click now here on pupil, or we can use this arrow here at the side to move to the next screen. And here we already are. It's the pupil detection. For this screen here, you see directly the right pupil is enlarged. So, and here you just check if the mid of the pupil was detected in the right way, which is not really the case here. So I would move the cross a little bit. And here you can either go with your mouse and move it a little bit. You can use your touchpad, or you can use the arrows from your keyboard. Or last but not least, you can use the arrows here at the side. In addition to that, you have here another menu where you can decrease and enlarge the picture. You can brighten it up if it's easier for you to find the pupil. Like in this case, we can even better go for the mid of the pupil with a bit more light here. And we can as well enhance the contrast if that helps us. If we have done one side, we just click on the other side, or we can use the tabulator tab on the keyboard to reach the left eye. And we do the same here again. We just track the mid of the pupil. So then we have done one part. We need to do the same for the second picture, which we see here. So we can click here on the second part for the pupil, so for the camera view from upside down. And we do here the same. We just click in the picture, and then we detect the mid of the pupil for the left and for the right eye, and we check if it's in the center, which is given here now. So now we have already done this step as well. Next thing is to analyze the frame edges. For the frame edges, you search for the crossover from the frame to the lens. If it's difficult for you to find that, you can have your frame at hand and just check it manually, physically, instead of on the picture to be very sure where this crossover is. So in this case, the nasal part for the right eye was detected very well. With the tabulator tab, I can just go one by one to put every arrow here, all the four parts, on the crossover of the frame and the lens. And we do that for the left eye as well. So this was it for one picture, and we need to do this for the second picture as well. So here again, and I can here as well go with the tabulator tabs. I can move the arrow with the mouse, or I can use the smaller steps here with indicated arrows to find here as well the crossover between frame and lens for the right eye, and as well for the left eye. This is as well very important. The most important part is to find the pupil properly, but as well all other following steps are needed to be done very neatly to be at the end very sure that you have found the right fitting parameters. So after doing this with the frame edges, we need to figure out the horizontal of the frame. So we go into this section, and to find out the horizontal, you can choose whatever you want that helps you to determine a horizontal line of the frame. Most of the times it's like you see it here, just the upper part of the frame. And here you can use as well the drop down from the mouse or the touchpad to just put a horizontal line on the frame. Sometimes you have other markers on the frame that helps you to find the horizontal. So here it's not very good, but for example, you see here is a small line from the frame where the screws are. So we could even use this one on both sides. If this gives you a better orientation to find the horizontal. For example, you have sometimes the drill holes for rimless frames, or the screws of rimless frames, where you can find this horizontal very good. So one part here, and then we just need to do the boxing. So here again, we just place the mint section on the crossover of the frame and the lens, on the upper part and on the nasal and temporal part for the left eye and for the right eye. And we can even move around again with the tabulator tabs and with the keyboard. So you can do how you like to do it to be here on the good side to find all the right places of the frame. So like this. And last but not least is the lens shape. So to find the lens shape, we have here usually our 16 markers, especially for frames like this with a lot of edges. This is pretty fine. When you have easy frames like very squared ones, then you can use as well only 8 indicators, but here 16 is very good. And you just move now the mint dots one by one as well, again here on the crossover of frame and lens to find the right frame shape. And what you see when I do this on the left side, the system automatically copies this to the other way around. When I do it on the right side, the ImpressionIST software does it already automatically as well on the left side. So this is fine. And then the last page is then our results screen. And here you see our fitting parameters. You see
the PD, for example, here 29.6 millimeters on the right side, 31 millimeters on the left side. You see the fitting height and all the other parameters in this picture. Or if you don't like it to be shown in this way, you can have it as well as a table. Just by clicking here on these two icons, you can switch between boxing and just the table format. And with our ImpressionIST 4, you can get the fitting parameters for every lens type. So what we have done here, which is automatically set as a default, is a fitting rule for the reference point requirement. This can be used for all progressive lenses, for all near comfort lenses, and for all our big lenses, either big progressive lenses, big ergo lenses, big mono plus lenses. So for all these lenses, the default setting can be used. When we are talking about standard single vision lenses and micron lenses, we need to respect the eye rotation center fitting rule. And you can easily switch here with this icon between these two fitting requirements. So default, the reference point, and if I change here, you directly see that the picture is changing and the fitting height is not longer as high as for the reference point requirement. So this is automatically calculated in the ImpressionIST. You just have to think about when you are fitting standard single vision lenses or micron lenses to change here from the default to the eye center rotation requirement. And that's it. If you have done this, everything is there. You have all your fitting parameters. In case you need to readjust something or to redo something, you can just move here around with this bar here and enter all the things we have done before. But usually when you have done it once, you are ready and you can just leave the software and then you are here, for example, back in CineXT Professional, and all the individual parameters are shown here, as well as the picture you have taken from your consumer.
So now we have figured out how easy it is to take a measurement with the ImpressionIST 4. And I hope you agree that this is really no rocket science. But it's very important to keep in mind that you are the eye care professionals and you are responsible that the measurement is taken properly, so that the customer is positioned in front of the device in the right way and that the frame is fitting perfectly. When you have respected all these things, the measurement results from the ImpressionIST 4 are very accurate. For example, the pupil distance and the distance between the lenses is calculated in an accuracy of less than 0.2 millimeters. When you are doing it in the old way, like taking the fitting parameters with a pen like this, you will only be able to have less accurate measurements because the tips of these pens are mostly 0.4 millimeters and that's the smallest in the size they are available. Before we end the session today, I would like to give you some more tips. First of all, call in your customers from time to time to have the fitting of their glasses checked. By the way, you can address other topics to them, like maybe they need additional sunglasses, and when you are checking regularly if the fit is still guaranteed, you can talk to them about other topics and enable multiple sales. Second tip, go for CineXT Professional. CineXT Professional is our service that connects everything, that supports you in your daily practice by connecting all our devices, creating a customer database, giving you access to the data from every workplace, and it's supporting you in your lens consultation. Third, take care of the ImpressionIST 4. So you should clean the mirror from time to time with a microfiber tissue, and you should disinfect the parts of the ImpressionIST 4 you touch regularly. Just take care that you, while cleaning the device, don't switch it on or off by default. And last tip, make sure that the ImpressionIST 4 is always ready to take a measurement when the customer comes into the shop. So just switch it on in the mornings when you start, and switch it off in the evenings, so we are already prepared when a customer comes in. Thank you very much for your attention for today's tutorial.